Welcome to I Partied With Your Mama, your new favorite podcast. Here's your host, Jessie Daly. Don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You don't want to miss this shit.
What is up? This is Jessie. I'm the host of your new favorite podcast, I Partied With Your Mama. I am sitting in beautiful Baja, Mexico, recording the intro to my third episode. Today, I am welcoming guest Bryan Small. He is the frontman of one of the best live bands, the Hangmen.
You're listening to my mom on your new favorite podcast.
Don't forget to send in your own stories so I can read them on the show. And who knows, maybe you'll be my next guest. You can email those stories to omg@ipartiedwithyourmama.com. Check out the website and like and subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
I'm in Montana,
Yeah, you're home.
Missoula. Yeah, downstairs in the guest room.
How is it there right now? Have you been home for a while?
It's beautiful. We moved back here 4.5 years ago. So I grew up as a youngster here, and then Boise for until I was like 19, and then LA from then to, you know, 5 years ago.
Wow, just like full circle. Did you always know you wanted to go back?
No,
No.
no. But when the parents get older and your kids get older and the big city experiment is kind of played out and they wanted, we all wanted to try a small town, be with the grandparents, stuff like that. Help out, change the scenery.
And it's just working.
Yeah. So far, I mean, it's not easy because my band is in LA, so that makes it very difficult. For me, I'm not used to that. We're getting used to it. We have to, you know.
Yeah, that's a big adjustment to do everything, I guess, electronically and like sharing your music. I know the guys in the band started doing that, and I don't think it was smooth in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know how far down that road I want to get. I'm almost w willing to make the effort to get somewhere, to be with the band, to be in the studio, to do, rather than this ping-ponging of, I mean, it's great for ideas, but when you're recording an album, that it's just, it
Yeah,
still
you got to
seems,
hunker down for like a month.
it still seems wrong to me, you
It's
know?
so not punk rock.
Yeah, and fly the track here. Yeah, it's just me being an old school about it.
It makes sense that to pick it apart so much kind of takes away the authentic nature of where these songs come from. And
Yeah,
once you pick it apart so much, you're like, you don't recognize it. You're like, was this any good anyway?
right. Yeah,
So you gotta meet in the middle somewhere for sure.
I just love being in an old school like studio with a ton of microphones, a ton of amps, and a drum kit. I can live there, you know. I love that. I don't know how to twiddle the knobs or do anything like that, but I do uh, voice try to voice my opinion on the way I think it should sound in my own Neanderthal way.
That's what you know, though.
Yeah, it is what I know. Yeah,
So basically, I think that you get the gist of my show.
I don't.
No?
No, I know what it is. I didn't
You're
want to
like,
know.
sign me up. I don't know what
Yeah,
the fuck I'm doing.
yeah, I never do anyways. What's the difference?
So I lost my mother like a year and a half ago. And I lost my job right after that. It was just like one hit after another. And I started talking to like friends and family and like trying to figure out what my mom was all about, just to
Mm,
have memories to write up, talk to the kids about. It's sort of to like fill a void and like help me through like a grieving process. And it's turned into this like project that I can't let go.
okay. I knew it had something to do with your mom.
I just want to talk to people like where you grew up. You grew up in Montana and then you moved to Boise. Like,
Uh,
what kind of family did you grow up in? And were you guys religious? Are you close with your mom?
Yeah, that's a mixed bag for sure. When my parents got divorced, um, I moved with my mom and her. I don't know if they were married or not yet. Me and my brother and sister, we all moved to Boise, and then they were married. So
So
we had
that
this.
was where the move came from,
Yeah,
divorce.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So we had this new like stepdad, and he was an asshole, but he did teach me some things. Um, he taught me to not fuck with people's stuff, because I would go around, I don't know if I was rebelling because I was with him, because this doesn't seem like something I would cook up on my own, or, but I would do not cool things to other kids, like take something from them or draw on something, And I was heavily, heavily reprimanded for that, and so I think that was kind of, in a bad way, a good thing for me to be like, dude, this is not right. The way he handled it was not right, and in my opinion, but um, other than that, he was a prick.
Hmm.
And that was a prickish thing to do, but he was trying to teach me something, you know.
Right. The best way he knew how
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and my mom liked to party. It was the 70s, man. And the parents were drunk all the time, drinking all the time, and the kids, they couldn't be bothered with the kids. Kids were to be seen and not to be heard,
Yep.
So that's kind of how we grew up, a little bit terrified of our stepfather, and that wasn't cool. And then we'd come to Montana and be with my dad, in the mountains and on the lake and all that stuff, and that was just
Completely
awesome.
different.
Yeah, completely different. So, um, but my relationship with my mom, my real mom, is the older I get, the more I see how much we are the same, selfish people. She was super selfish, having us and not wanting us around, while she
Hmm.
goes to the bar or goes to the country club or wherever she went to drink with her friend. And she just wasn't ready for kids at all. I'm the middle. I'm Peter Brady in the scheme of it. Because we are I've got steps too. So there's three girls and three boys. Yeah. And the big station wagon with the paneling on it. I mean, exactly like that.
So your mom's new husband came with three kids?
No, no.
Oh,
My
you're
my dad remarried,
oh,
and
okay.
she had two kids, and then they had one together. I've got more empathy for my mom now than I did, you know. And she put up with a lot of shit from me. And I was kind of a freeloader up until I left for California. She took care of me long, long after. She gave me a place to sleep and food long after she should have. I thought, thinking now, you know. And yeah, but she did the best she could, and I realized that. She didn't know any better. And she just fucking grew up slow, became an adult very slow, just like me.
I definitely had times in my life where I sort of despised characteristics about my mother and her life.
Sure.
And then when you see it in yourself, like as an adult, you're like, oh shit. Like it was just her living her life. Like I was watching her grow up and I didn't realize that, when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that we have kids, it's nice to sort of think that way. Like my kids are like they're watching me grow up. I remind them all the time. I'm like, I've
Right.
never done this before.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my first time.
Right. Yeah.
And also, I feel like there wasn't a lot of discussion. Like, I grew up in the 80s and I didn't really know what was going on in my mom's life. Like I would see her, but I didn't really know what was going on in her personal life. And
Right.
I feel like that was the struggle for parents in that era. There was no discussion like how my mom was doing or what was
Yeah.
going on in her
Yeah.
life. Like, are you
Yeah.
happy? Who's this guy? you know, what the fuck are you doing with him? Why are you getting married again? Like, we didn't discuss that. It was just like, oh, boom,
Right.
this is
Right.
what we're doing now. I
Yeah.
can't imagine that. Like, can you imagine moving back to Montana and not telling the kids, like just packing their shit and being
No,
like,
no, I don't, no, that's not how I do it, how we
yeah,
do it. But there's also like, it's not a democracy either. It's just not. You're kids. And, and that's the way it is. And they understand that. And it's cool. And we're not tyrants or anything, but, there's discipline for sure. It's taken me a long time to learn the value of things, you know, like the value of respect, the value of treating people a certain way, the value of not being a bully, the value of money, the value of working hard, what that gives me, you know, it's super important, you know, to me. And to give that to my kids, I think it's a mistake, at least for my family, for me to spoil my kids, you know. Um, in a certain sense, they're more spoiled than any kids that I know, but because we're Americans, we
yeah,
got it
it's
so
like
good.
we just,
You
you're
know,
born into that if you're in
yeah,
the country. But
yeah,
yeah, like real values, like having to
yeah,
learn all the things that you know now as an adult. It's better to teach while they're children.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's like learning a new language. To learn a new language at 50 is way harder than it is at 10. I always told my kids that I learned so much from my mother. Like, you can know what the right thing is to do even when someone's doing the wrong thing.
absolutely.
And we had to
Yeah,
do that sort of in silence back in the day. But like now, I feel like that's a big subject that we talk about a lot. They are respectful, but they're not afraid to have a conversation.
sure.
Where I
Yeah,
would have, I would have never, as a kid, I would be like,
yeah,
mm-mm, I don't say nothing.
right,
But I
right.
knew what I was seeing.
Yeah, when my kids call me out, you know, which they do, it's usually very, very valid. It's like, what's wrong with you? I go,
And
oh man,
jarring, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, I automatically know inside if I'm making a left turn and I should be making a right turn.
Hmm.
But them calling me out on it, first thing is anger, like because I don't want to be less in their eyes. I want to be the
Right.
guy that has all the answers. And I think that we're open enough as a family that they can see that I'm ridiculous and point it out, but still respect me, you know, which is great. And I love where we're at right now with my son. He's 12. Where I'm at with him is a pretty great spot. Not that we've had any really bad spots. I love being with him, but I love being his dad too, not just his buddy. I'm his dad, and I let him know that.
Which there's a huge difference there. That's a good thing for kids to realize. Like, I do think that there is something to be said to have that close relationship with your kids and also not take any shit. Realize that and have that sort of conversation. Like,
Yeah,
just being honest with your kids because I never knew that parents didn't have all the answers. I
Right,
didn't know that they
right,
didn't know
right,
everything.
right. Yeah, yeah,
And I tell
yeah,
the kids all the time, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
right.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm making this shit up.
yeah, yeah, for sure. No, I do that too, and it's kind of freeing,
It is.
you know.
There's less pressure.
Yeah, it's just being honest and truthful with, hey, I've never done this before. Let's see how it goes, And so,
Did your kids have a relationship with your mother at all?
oh yeah, my kids, yeah, she still lives in Boise, and she's still with us, thank God. My stepmom passed a couple years ago.
Oh, she
Yeah,
did.
yeah, but we were up here for almost 2.5 years with her, and that's a whole nother kettle of fish. But back to your question, yeah, we I take the kids to see their grandma, once a year, I think, and she's getting too old to come out and visit us anymore.
Hmm.
So we have to go visit her, which is fine. It's just getting the time to do it. And
Right.
then I take Jude over there or or the whole family, depends on who can go, you know.
How is your
And
guys' relationship since you've
and it's
been
good,
closer?
you know.
Did you guys ever have like a reckoning of your like childhood?
Like me talking to her about it.
Yeah, did you ever discuss anything? It's kind of, I find that most people don't, but having like parents that are still living, I just wonder if you've ever discussed childhood or the move or the stepdad
Um,
or
she didn't like him either.
mm,
So when they got a divorce, it was kind of freedom for all of us, So we're all in the same boat, not digging this dude. The fact that she left my dad for this guy really, really bummed us out. The only reckoning I've had with my mom is because of her drinking. She alienated my little brother. My little brother didn't want to talk to her anymore, and didn't really talk to her for a while.
mm.
And is this going to go on? Like, people going to hear this? This is very personal stuff.
Probably no one's going to hear it. But the only reason I started this podcast is because my mom died. I definitely understand the
Yeah,
hesitation and I feel
yeah,
like that's sort
yeah,
of the
because
point.
I've got a story, but they've got a story too,
Of
you
course.
know?
Yeah.
And what I'm saying could be off the mark somewhat, but it's the way see it. Yes, there was a reckoning of some, you know, to try and get those two to reconcile a little bit, It's like I had to be kind of blunt with my mom and tell her, hey, you know, you weren't really there for us, and he resents that. And maybe you could look at that and apologize to him if you want him in your life, you know. And and I'd never talked to my mom like that because she's my mom, And I was because I've been in some kind of like AA situation for so long, I see the benefit in looking at your own shit and owning up to some things. If you want to move forward, if you don't, you can stay stuck.
Right. Like you had a language to teach her.
Yeah, which is where they were. They were stuck. And she didn't understand it. I'm going, well, here's the deal. This is why he feels this way and doesn't want to, doesn't answer your phone calls or whatever. So that helped. And I give her a huge amount of credit for doing whatever she did to try and patch that up and own up to her own part in it.
Right. To
Yeah.
repair that.
Yeah, and that, everybody's got a part. I took a different path with my mom. I didn't shun her or anything. I kind of related to her more because I was a fuck up too, you know. And My brother wasn't. He was very together, always, you know. So
which might have made it harder for him to relate
it
to the whole
sure it sure did.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everybody's got a story.
everybody's
Everybody's
got
got
a story. It's
yeah,
true. And I
you know.
I just think that it's kind of cool to tap into that.
Yeah. I just don't want to say anything that's gonna
Piss anybody off.
yeah, or you know, it's like airing family stuff on a podcast. I mean,
I know.
I could talk for days about myself because I got a million stupid stories, you know, and I'm not afraid. I've got nothing to hide, you know, but when it comes to other people in my family, you know, it's just like that's tough.
Yep, it is.
You
I
know,
think
so
that's why it's not really done, because people love to talk about themselves and their own personal things, but when you're throwing back, it's like, oh shit, like everybody has their own perspective. And
sure,
my sister and I were only two kids in the same house. We're 2 years apart, but our childhoods were very different.
right.
And
Where did you guys
that's
grow up?
in Yuma.
Really?
Yuma, Arizona. Yeah.
That's why you went back there?
No, we went back there for about a year. It was
Yeah,
after
I remember
Eddie's
that.
cancer. Yeah, just I didn't know what the fuck to do. I mean,
Sure.
when you don't know what to do, you go home.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's, where your parent is or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we settled there for a second, and then I was just like, "Whoa, wait a minute. I left when I was 17 for a reason."
Right. Yeah.
So we hightailed it out of there pretty quick.
Right.
But it
And
was a good
then
stop.
you went to San Diego from there.
Yep, from Yuma to San Diego, we've been in the same place ever since.
Okay. You're loving it.
I love it. There's like
Good.
no
San
lateral
Diego's cool.
move. It is cool. I mean,
You know. I haven't spent a lot of time there, but it seems to suit you guys, you know.
yeah, and it's big, it's like it's kind of all spread out like LA is, and like every neighborhood is different. But where we
Yeah.
live, it's very chill, not all crazy. There's not a bunch of like, not a ton of tourists, and it's still beach,
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just love it.
That's awesome. Awesome.
For the kids
Hey,
to be able to walk to the beach with their surfboards.
so great. That's like my childhood dream,
I
you
know, me
know.
too.
That's fantastic.
To have easy access to something that doesn't cost anybody money, or, you don't need a
Right.
membership or a
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
That's what I that's why I feel like we're there, because they can have that old time childhood where you can just go outside and go
Absolutely.
play,
Yeah.
but they have
Yeah.
something to do.
Yeah. That's so cool. Love it.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
Are they all surfing?
Yeah, Elvis
Really?
walks down and does a surf check. Zeke will do anything that she does
Right.
just because he's 12, same as Jude.
Oh, is
Like,
he? Oh my
yeah,
God. I didn't realize they were like exactly the same age.
I didn't either. I was
That's
thinking
crazy.
when we lived in Eagle Rock, we
Yeah.
all did Halloween together.
Yeah.
I don't, I guess they were so little. It's like all
Yeah.
little kids.
Yeah.
You never know how old they are.
Right.
But I was like, damn, I didn't know they were like exactly the same
Yeah.
age.
Yeah. That's
When's
yeah.
Jude's birthday?
Jude's birthday is October 7th.
And Zeke's is June. So,
So he'll be 13 in
mhm.
June. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's still going over to that place you guys had in Eagle Rock when Jude was little. I think we came over to a party. I know we did. And Jude still kind of talks about that.
Oh,
You know, because Quattro was, had a skateboard and was jumping off the roof, and he had a tarantula, and you know, he's like, he was really, you know, was really impressed with that. Yeah,
yeah, that one's burned in his brain. That's good.
yeah, yeah.
You're listening to my mom on your new favorite podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to I Partied With Your Mama.